Hello all, welcome to Clark Technologies, and we are very happy to announce that we are going to provide a free course for MuleSoft for all the freshers and beginners and who want to learn MuleSoft from scratch. This is entirely free course which we are going to release on day by day basis. So it will be a 30 days course, so it is very helpful for you to learn MuleSoft from scratch. And we have explained this course with the real-time project. We have built a real-time project also. In order to explain that, we have created a couple of files and project code as well. So if you want to get those files and projects, please email us with this subject line, request to share level 1 course file. Also, we have an important announcement that we are planning to release a MuleSoft advanced level 2 course very soon. So in this course, we will be discussing most of the topics of MuleSoft, which will help you very well in order to complete level 2 certification as well as to work on complex real-time projects as well. So I hope you will be enjoying that course as well. So if you want to know more details about advanced level course, please contact us via mobile or email. We will be sharing those details. So without further delay, let's get started. Hello all, welcome to Clark Technologies. So by this time, I hope if you have watched our previous videos in this playlist, you have some idea about what we are going to do in this project and what we will discuss in this video for sure. Okay. So if you didn't watch our previous videos, I highly recommended to watch our previous videos from day 0 or from course content to till this video, because if you didn't watch those videos, you will not understand what we are going to develop in this video onwards, or what we are going to develop in this project. Okay, just please watch all the other videos and then come back to this video, so that will be very easy for you to follow the flow. So if you are visiting our channel for the first time, please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share our videos, and I hope this entire course will be very useful for you to crack any interview or to work on any real-time project with much confidence. Okay, so let's get started. So in this video, what we can see, let's recap for the previous video. So in the previous video, what we have discussed is, right, we discussed about the API which we are going to design right now, and what are the different resources we are going to design, and what are the 4 functionalities, what is the request response format, and all the requirements we have gathered for that 4 resources which we are going to design in RAML, right? So what is RAML? Maybe I can just give you brief. RAML is a language by using which we are going to implement REST APIs. So if you remember, we have a couple of stages. We have, these are the different stages in our API lifecycle, right? So we are going to see all the different stages one by one in our entire project. I just give here just names, but we have to do lot of stuff in each and every stage. So now if you remember, in our previous video we were completed this requirements gathering or planning for this particular API which we are going to design right now. So then our next phase of our API lifecycle is to design this REST API. So now we are going to design this API, but we have to do lot of things in this designing part. We will see one by one. So what we need to design? We are going to design means we are going to create a RAML for these 4 resources which are related to this one system API which we are going to build. So this is the API, IBS Library Management SAPI. For this system API, we are going to build this 4 functionality. So before you do the implementation, you need to design this first by using RAML. So let's go back to our Anypoint platform, nothing but Cloud Hub. So we have a feature called Design Center. In this Design Center, we are going to design the RAML. Just remember what feature is used to what. Maybe I have already explained this in API lifecycle video, just give an overview. Now we will see in depth. So by using Design Center, we are going to design our REST APIs by using RAML language. That is the first point you need to remember. Okay, ignore this RAML which I have just created to just check few things. Okay, so to create a new API, to create a new REST API, or to create a new RAML, what you have to do, you need to just click on create and click on new API specification. Okay, we will going to discuss about fragments also in our next video, but without fragments, how your API looks like, we need to discuss here in this video. Then you will get better understanding of what is the use of fragments and why we are going to use fragments, and why we are thinking about reusable fragments. And maybe in your interviews also someone asked you what is the reusable fragments, how you are going to build and all, right? So we will cover that in depth in next video. So for now, let's create a RAML. So what I did, I'll just go through and create, click on new API specification. So here you need to give your project name. So in our case, our project name is IBS Library Management System API. You can give the same name, right? Come down, just click on create. But here, if you can observe, this is the specification language we are going to select. By default, it is RAML 1.2. So just leave it as it is. RAML latest version we are going to use. So click on create API. Once you click on create API, it will open up the design center screen for you, where you are going to design our resources. So here you need to remember, resource means feature. This feature libraries feature. So if you want to get a list of all libraries by using this resource, this is the feature we are going to implement. So we need to design this resource. So in our previous video, we have already captured what is the resource name, what is the method, and what is the request payload or response payload, or is there any headers payload. We have discussed everything, right? So now by using all this information, we are going to design our API. Now let's go back to here. So to create RAML, you need to remember a couple of just a flow, but actually those details are coming as a suggestions for you here. See, here you have lot of suggestions. Once you click on here, it will automatically added here. Okay, sorry, my cursor is there, so it got added over there. So just click enter. You need to click on here, it will add automatically. So you no need to type manually. Most of the cases you can just select the suggestions, just select the keywords here. But one thing you need to remember is what value we are going to use when. So when we should click when we should select base URI, when we can select this, when we can select this, like this, you should have at least some idea. Then it will be easy for you to design the RAML. Okay, so for that, actually to demonstrate that, I just created one diagram. So first thing would be, you need to add RAML title and version. So let's see, yeah, RAML title is there. Sorry, RAML this is there and title is there. Now we need to add version. Let's see, yeah, version is the root one. So you can just click on version. This is the first version. You can just give 1.2. Next, click enter. Next, what you need to do, you need to add base URI. That is also here in your suggestion. So base URI. You can give your API name, but for now, I am just going to give our Cloud Technologies email address. But later on, once we develop or deploy this application, we need to change this URI to the Cloud Hub URL. Okay, nice. So we have done title, version, base URI. Next, media type. So media type. Media type means what kind of data you are going to communicate in this RAML. So usually it will support XML format and JSON format, but most of the cases we are going to use JSON format only. And in our application, like as per our project requirement also, we are going to use JSON. I mean, our request body, response body, everything is JSON, right? So we need to select media type as application JSON. So next step is to select the media type. So let's go back here. So here select media type. It is also available there. Here the root element. Media type is JSON. And one thing I missed out, we can select the protocols also. Protocols means what are the different protocols we are going to use in this REST API. Usually we will use HTTP for our testing purpose, but in real time you need to select HTTPS as well. So for now I'm just selecting HTTP, but that point I didn't capture here. Maybe I can add order maybe here and there, but just remember those things as well. Protocols. You need to select protocols, then media type. Then we need to design this resources. That's okay. I'll adjust it later and I'll send this diagram. Okay, so protocols is HTTP for now, as we are going to do testing with HTTP, but in real time you need to select HTTP and HTTPS as well. Okay, right. So here all the header root level information we have provided for our RAML. Now the next step would be you need to select, you need to create your resources one by one. So resources means the 4 functionalities which we are going to implement. So after the media type or after the protocol, it should be, these both should be in any order, no problem. So after that media type, till here the blue highlighted one is the root details of the RAML. Now we need to design our resources. So what is our first resources? It is to list of the libraries. So our resource name is /libraries. You need to do this. So this diagram will help you to follow the order for get methods and post methods while you are going to design. But it's not mandatory to follow this order in all the cases, but just have a reference for this reference of this diagram to follow some order. Okay. Right. So to design that, first you need to give the resource name. You just remember, a resource name should always start with slash. Type it. Yeah, slash. Wait. Yeah. Now the resource name, libraries and colon. So every time if you are going to create a new resource or a new functionality, you should follow this syntax, right? So let me just. So this is the slash libraries. So you need to give slash and resource name and colon. Now once you give the resource name, it will ask you for the method. So as we know, this libraries is the get method. You need to just click on get. Okay, so this is the get method. Then just go to the diagram, just follow the order. So we have created the resource name. First one we selected the method. Next one we need to add the headers. Okay, so once you select the method, you need to add headers. Here the suggestion is available. So click on headers. What are the headers you need to add? That will be there in your requirement document. Add those headers one by one. So we have captured all the headers at the end of this document, right? See here, these are the headers. So header name you should give first. This will not come as a suggestion because this is the name which you can define. So that client ID is your header name which you can define. You can give any name here. So this is not the keyword. Okay, only the keywords are coming under this suggestion section here. Okay, so once you click enter, for that client ID, what are the properties? You can just say what type of property it is. Client ID means it's a string, and what is the use of this property. You can give at least basic details, type and string. For that, because those are the keywords, it will come here. See, once you click enter, it will come type, and you can select the type also by clicking on here instead of typing manually. Once you click enter, again it will show you the remaining properties of for that particular header. You can select a description. It is a client ID, something like that. Okay, now click enter. So you need to follow the indentation in the RAML. That is for sure. You need to make sure you are going to follow the indentation correctly. So to start any resource, there would be no gaps. Slash libraries and colon. So once you click enter, see there is a gap, some space here from this line to here. This is nothing but indentation. So if you want to select any other sub property, it will show you another space from this get, and other sub property it will show you another one space extra will be coming for you. So you need to observe these spaces. Usually you will not do it any manually. Once you click on enter, it will adjust. But now just observe this. Once I click on enter, my cursor will be there under the description. So which means we are going to add more properties related to this particular client ID. But now I don't want to add any other properties for this client ID. I want to add one more header, new header I want to add. So as you know, this is the header. So one more header name also should be in the same line. So now you need to adjust your cursor. So just click on one backspace. See now this line is there. Here the cursor is there. Now you can give another header name, client secret, and you need to give colon. This is the syntax. Now if you hit enter, see now one space is there, automatically space coming because the cursor is not there, just below the C. After space it is coming there. So now you can select the properties of this client secret, just we did for the client ID. So this is also string, and you need to give description. It is client secret, something like this. Okay, but remember, in this video, as I informed you earlier, we are not following fragments functionalities here. We are giving everything in the main RAML. But in your real-time projects, we should follow the reusable fragments syntaxes, and we need to include those fragments in our main RAML. That we will see later. Okay. So now just remember this order. You need to give resource name, method, and headers. Inside that headers, you need to give as many as headers as per your requirement. And for each and every header, you need to define these properties. So now I have given two headers. Headers is my main heading. You can remember in that way. Headers is my main heading. In that I have two headers, client ID and client secret. But in our project, these are the two headers, and we need third header also, which is correlation ID. So now what you have to do, just click enter. So as this is the new header name, just give one backspace. Make sure the cursor is just below that C. Now type that your header name and give colon. Now you can define the properties by clicking on enter. So likewise you can define as many as header properties. I am just giving some small description. It is like transaction ID. So now I have defined three headers. So I have done with my headers part. Now just click on enter, backspace, headers, just to make sure. So now just you need to click on another space, because headers is one complete section. We have completed that. If you want to add one more set of property, you need to just go below to this header H line. You need to make sure your cursor is there below this H line. So you need to give two backspaces now. So likewise you need to adjust the indentation while designing the RAML. So once you do practice, it will be easy for you. If this is the first time you are doing it, you will feel little confusion, little difficult by this time. But just do a practice for all these things. It will be very easy for you. Designing RAML is not a rocket science. It is very easy task for you, but you need little practice. Okay. So now we are done with the headers. Now let's go back to the diagram. So we have done with the headers. Next section is you need to define security schemas, but for now we will just ignore the security schemas. We will see this later once we are discussing about fragments. Okay, just ignore this. Now you need to add response body structure. If you remember, we have already discussed for get methods there will be no request body, only response body will be available. Right, so now let's see. See, this is the library's resource. We have captured the requirements. So request payload is not there. Common error responses is there. We will see this later. Request parameters are not there for this particular resource. And we have response payload. So this is our response payload. So what it meant by response payload? Once you click on this method, you need to get the response in this format. So that is why this is your response payload. Right? Okay. What we can do is like, so in that way, response payload means response body. So now you need to add the responses in your RAML. So come just below to this H line under the headers. If you can see, suggestions are there, responses. Click on responses. It will automatically add it. Now you need to select the status code. If you remember, for get methods, success status code is 200. So once you click on responses and click on enter, it will show you the different status codes available. You need to select this status code accordingly as per your request and response requirement of your particular resource. So our get libraries, sorry, the slash libraries is a get method. It is going to pull all the library details from the database. So it is a success scenario. So for get method, what is the status code? We have already seen in our another document, another video. Right? Just recap that. So for success code, success response, the HTTP status code is 200 for get method. But for post method it is 201. Just remember these two things. So now you need to just select the status code. Now it will ask you for the body. Just click on the body. Now it will ask you for the type of the body. In what format you are going to get the response. It's a JSON format or XML format, like that. So in our requirement, it is a JSON format response we are expecting. So just select applications JSON, application/JSON. So all these 4 steps I have mentioned here in this diagram. See, response body structure. So you need to select the responses keyword. You need to select first this one, then you need to select status code, then body type, media type. See, these 4 I have mentioned here: response code, body, media type. Then the next one is we need to define the properties and examples. So what is meant by properties and examples? Let's see. So now you know right, while you capturing the requirements, this is the structure, this is the response structure you are expecting from this particular resource. So once you click on this method, you want to get response in this format. So in this format means what is the structure? Ignore about the values, because in your once you implement this project, once you done the development of this project, you will get the values, actual values from the database. These are all the values we have just given: static values and dummy values. These values are not available anywhere. So just for our example purpose, we have given dummy values, but in real time these values will differ, but these keys will not differ. We need to follow this structure only: library code, branch, total books, available books, books rented. All this structure should be there in the same way, but values will differ based on the content available in the database, right? So what is meant by properties means you need to define the structure of all the key names here in the RAML. Okay, so you need to mention all the properties, like values you are expecting. Okay, see, so now I am expecting library code, branch, total books, available books, books rented. All these 5 properties I am expecting in this response. You need to define all those 5 properties here one by one by using properties keyword. And then you need to provide some example data. This is the sample data, right? This is the sample data, this JSON is. So you need to provide this sample data as an example. Okay, so now you need to define that. Let's go back to our design center. So here we have selected the type, right? Just click enter. It will show you properties here. Just select that properties keyword. Now you need to define all these properties one by one. But to make this as a map or this array of JSON, you need to use the object type that we will see later. First, let's define only properties one by one. So the first property is library code. I have given it. Just like headers, we need to define all the properties one by one, and inside that properties you need to give the another details about that properties. So library code, the type is string. Okay, description, and you can give required also. Is it required, true or false? Required means mandatory parameters, if this parameter is mandatory or not while you are expecting the response. So library code is mandatory for me, so I am expecting mandatory code, library code as a mandatory value. So these 3 properties I have defined for this one response property. Likewise, you need to define other properties as well. So, remember, once you click enter, it will show you the cursor here under the description, but these properties, these 3 properties are specific to this library code. But now I want to add one more new property like this. So first one is library code, we have added. Second one is library branch, this we need to add. Okay, now click enter. So cursor is under description, just move one step ahead, type the another property, click colon, then you need to give another 3 values just like we did for that. Now maybe this time you can select required is false. Likewise, you need to define all the properties. Now, I don't want to spend much time here to define all these properties, because later on in our next video, we need to segregate them into different fragments. So I just wanted to show you how you can define the properties. Okay. So these are the two properties as of now I have defined, and then let me add some examples as well for this. Okay. So now just click enter, go back, go to the properties. I mean the cursor just line the properties line. Click on example, and you know one thing, you can test this RAML here itself by using mocking service. Okay. So here the documentation is there. Now just click on the document. Whenever you add any method, it will show you the details here. So libraries is the endpoint and libraries is the resource, and which is the method. It is a get method. It will show you the get method. So once you click on this method, it will ask you to try this. So you can try this here itself. You try means you can just test it here itself. See, once you see, before you click on try it, just observe the differences. See, under headers, it is showing client ID, client secret, X correlation ID. These are the three headers we have added here. Client ID, client secret, X correlation ID. Okay. Let's say, for example, if we remove this, see, that header is gone here in the documentation. It shows only client ID and client secret. Okay. Let me add it back. See, one space extra. Yeah. So I have added it back. It is showing all the three headers. So whenever you type something here, it will display you graphically here in the documentation. Okay. And if you see, we have added only two properties, library code and library branch, in the response. It is showing here in the example. You can copy this and click enter. You can give it here, and you can give any test data. It will automatically reflect here. Okay, what it meant was, see, we already discussed the stages, right? Where it is, yeah. Once we're done with the design, we will publish this to Exchange, and we will send this access to our end users or customers. We will get the feedback. Okay, so till here we are not doing any implementation, only we designed it. We just give access to the end users or customers to get the feedback. So how they will provide feedback? They will test this RAML here by using this design center or by using Anypoint Exchange. Here they will test these resources, and they will see all these details. They will observe, like, what are the headers you have added, what is the request body, what is the response body you have added, and what is the two error codes or response code you have added. Like this, they will test everything here without the actual implementation. So it saves some time for the developers. So they will test it here itself by using this mocking service. This is called mocking service. Once you click on try it, it will ask you for the details. We can see that. So they will try it, they will test it here. If they see everything is okay, they will give you go ahead, so that your design is completed. You can start the development. If they need any changes, or if they observe any differences between the actual requirements and the design which you have done, if there is any gaps, they will provide you the feedback, like, we need this information here, or we are missing this information here. You need to redesign your RAML. So again, you need to redesign your RAML. You need to send, publish this to Exchange. You can ask for the feedback. Until unless the customer or end users will provide you the go ahead, it's to start the development, it is a waste of time. We need to do rework again. So that is why first we need to design this first. We will get the feedback. Once everything is okay, then we can start the development in real time cases, right? So how to test this? By using this design center. Okay, now click on try it. It will show you select server. This is the base URL which we have given here, the base URL. But for now, you can just select mocking service. Mocking service is the one which will mock this complete resource, and it will send you the sample data request and response to make sure everything is working fine or not. Okay, see, once you click on try it, it will ask you for this three headers. See, under the headers, it is asking for this three headers. because we have defined 3 headers here, but we don't have any query parameters or URI parameters. We didn't add anything, so that is why query parameters it is not showing anything here. But for the headers, it is showing these are the mandatory fields. Okay, so you need to give any details, any random text here, and click on send. It will trigger that endpoint. It will send you the sample response, the example which you have provided, that will show you here, and it will show you the status code as 200 and message is okay, because you have given response status code is 200, which is get method success response, and it is send the response for you, and it will send you sample response also here. So this is how you can test your REST API by using Design Center. So let's create another resource. Let's see. Yeah, now let's see how we can design another resource. So our second requirement is to design this resource libraries and library ID, where library ID is the URI parameter, and by using this library ID, it should pull the details from the database uniquely. See, get the library details based on the library ID in simple way. So for this, there is no request payload because this is the get method. We have already discussed it. Request parameters is URI parameter. We have one URI parameter, and this is the response payload which is expecting. Okay, so let's see. Usually, if you would like to display, add any URI parameter method, you can just say, you can give one tab and / library ID. So you need to provide URI parameters in this format. In flower braces, you need to provide that URI parameter name, and /: are the common syntax for every resource. But see, this is come under libraries under library ID. So means this is the root element in root resource. In this root resource, we have created now. But what is the issue is, let's click enter. Yeah, now. Okay, no problem. It is accepting. Yeah, I thought two get methods will not accept in general, but that's okay. Yeah, so you can just have one tab and add this URI parameter here after the tab. So it will come under libraries / library. This is the first one, root resource, and into that one URI parameter resource also we have added. So see, once you add here, it will automatically generated in the documentation. It will automatically visible here. Let's say, for example, if you select if you select post method, here it will show you the post method. Like that, whenever you see you do any changes here, it will automatically reflect in the documentation here. So okay, as of now, it is a get method in our requirement. Okay, let's go back to the requirement. So here also we need headers, same headers. Okay, and there is no request payload, and request parameter is library ID, which we have already added, and response payload is there. We need to define this structure in some different way, but as of now, as I said, we will just add these parameters only to this. So what are the parameters, properties we need to add? What is the expected response payload, library code, address, phone number, email address. This is specific to this particular library. Then inside that book code, title, these details should be coming as a response, right? But before that, let's go back to the diagram once. Let me just open it. I got. See, for this get resource, we need to define in this way. Resource name we have already defined, method we have already defined. We need to define headers, and security as of now just leave it as it is. Don't worry about security for now. So we need to add method, headers, and response body structure, just like we did for another get method. Right. So let me go back to the design center. Yeah, we have added resource name, method. Now next thing we need to add is headers, but it's the same headers I need to add for this resource as well. So I'm just copy paste here. See, some indentation is missing, so you need to just adjust this indentation. Don't press space, just click on tab. Tab button is there now in your keyboard, just press that, it will get adjusted. So this is the client ID header. Inside that you need to provide the properties. So under the client ID you need to give one tab and you need to provide the properties for that client ID header. Then again another header you need to add. So this is the new header, so the line should be just straight to this client ID and client secret. The indentation should be there. So by seeing this you will be easily understand get is the method. Okay, under this there is nothing, so only one method. So this is the headers we are defining. So inside that we are defining 3 header parameters. See, there is different space here, right? So by seeing that you need to understand what are the headers and all. Okay, see, okay, now let's go back to the diagram. We have defined headers as well. Now we need to define response body structure, and we need to define couple of error objects as well. Let's see error responses also. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, now you need to add the responses. So now let's just click backspace whenever you see these responses. So here you see responses, right? Just click here. As this is the get method, you need to select 200 only as a HTTP code. Then you need to select a body, then application/JSON. Then here if you want to define response properties, you can define. So yeah, we have to define the response properties because we are expecting response in this format. So this is one, we need to define all these properties one by one. All these keys of this particular JSON payload one by one we need to define it as a property. So let's copy this library code. Colon means first property we have added. Now we need to add some information about this property as a under this. Okay, so what is the type of this library code? For now we can just take it as string, and any example if you want to define, yeah, you can define. It's like IBS 123. This is the example. Now let's click enter. So now we need to add one more property. This is the address. So you need to remember, you need to adjust that indentation. That thing you need to be very focused. See, under this property, this is the complete straight line. Na? So under this property there is nothing. But inside that properties we have library code. This is one property. If you see any line, straight line here and add something here, it will treat like this is another property, this is another property. So inside that you have defined type and example, right? So these two values are related to this property, and these properties, address and library code, these two are related to the properties tab, like that. So once you are doing one by one, then it will be easy for you. Now you need to define type for this as well, and type is a string for now. And if you want to provide any example, yeah, you can give address as like some for now maybe Hyderabad. Okay, so I have added two properties, library code and address. Let's go back to the documentation. Next thing we need to add phone number. So where do you want to add phone number? Once you click enter, cursor is there here under the Hyderabad. But now you need to add a new property. So you need to click backspace till it reaches this line, address line, because this is another third property you are going to add. So now paste that phone number and click on colon to follow the syntax. Now click enter. Now it will come under phone number by adding some space here, right? So now you need to add the properties for this, attributes for this property, or another more information for this property, just like we did type and example. Na? So for phone number also you need to add type. So usually phone number type will be integer, right? So you need to select the integer, and example you can give in quotations like some number. Okay, right? Okay, this is integer, you should not add quotations, it seems. Yeah, now it is fine. So whenever it is string, you need to provide example in quotations. Whenever it is integer, you can just type the number. So for now we have added three properties: library code, address, phone number. Let's add email address also. So what you have to do, just click enter and click backspace till this property under this phone number. Now paste that, enter colon. Now click on enter. Now you need to add type and example for this email address as well. So for email address, type is we can select test string because it is a combination of at the rate, special characters and all, right? So simply you can select string. So example, as it is string, we need to provide in double quotation something like test@clarity.com something. Now we have defined all the four properties. To define this books and all, you need to have an object type of property you need to define. That's we will see later once we discussed about this fragment section. Then that will be easy for you. Okay, so for now just let's define the header part of this response. So library code, address, phone number, email address, only these four properties we have defined now. So now we have completed success response of this particular libraries and library ID. Now you need to add couple of error responses also. We have not added here in this libraries, but let's see now how to add this. So to add this, the cursor should be, because the success response code is 200. So if you want to add any error response code like 400 or 401, the cursor should come here under this 200. So just try to adjust that cursor, or you can just click on backspaces. It will show you the it will show you the status codes here. Once you are able to see the status code, you can stop that backspace over there. That is also we can do as an alternative. See, now when I click on backspace, it is showing status codes here. So now let's observe that the cursor is there in the 200 line. Right? So now we can add another status code. So as get success code is 200, we have already added. Error code is some couple of error responses also we need to add. Let me add 404. So what is meant by 404? It means method not found, I guess. Let's see. So you need to add the response code. Click on body, click the type, and if you don't want to mention any, if you want to mention properties, you can mention properties also, just like we did for the success response. So for the error body, we have error code, error description, and three properties we have, right? Yeah, let's just go to this document. We have captured something here. See, for error responses, we have status code, error type, error description, correlation ID. Just ignore about this correlation ID as of now. Just remember this correlation ID is a unique ID which is used to track our logs, or which is used to track our transactions. So to find anything which is uniquely identified, so we can use correlation ID. This we can use it for the tracking and logging purpose. So if you want to define properties, you can define for this 400. Okay, so status code colon, under property you will have one tab and status code. This is the first error property we are going to define. Now click on enter. Again you need to give type. See, we have these are not mandatory actually for each and every property. I just selected type and example, but you can add more details as well. See, we have a lot many details here. I just selected type and string for type and example for every property. You can give required equal to true, what is the pattern, what is the minimum length, maximum length. We can define all these properties also to make it more clear. Now status code is 404 here. Okay, so like that you can define another properties also. So another one is error type. Just adjust the cursor under the status code, type the error code, type colon, click enter. Now you can add these two properties. You can maybe copy paste here. The error type is not found. So to do this copy paste, please make sure you are following indentation. Otherwise you can just select normally one by one. That would be easy for you as a beginner. So third one is error description. So I need to click on enter and click on backspace to adjust the cursor under this. So just paste here, click on colon. Now add the properties of type and example for now. We will add more details once we discuss about fragments in our next video. So error description, method not found, something like that. Okay, so we have defined only one error response as of now. You need to define, as per your requirement, you need to define these many error responses, 400, 404, and in real-time project we have lot many error responses also, 5 to 6 or maybe 10 like that. So as of now, let's see this, because to type everything here it will be a very big RAML for us. So okay, let's discuss on the fragments in our next section. Then we will see how can we segregate this. That will be easy for you to understand and follow. So for now, I have designed two get methods, and for this I have added headers and success and error responses. So let's see how to test this. Okay. So now we tested, previously we have tested this as well. So now let's test this. So let's click on that method name, click on try it. The select server, you need to select the mocking server. It will add some mock URL for you. Now come down, see what is the information we have given. Required field, library ID. What is this library ID? It is a URI parameter, because you have defined this as a URI parameter by using this syntax. Whenever you use slash flower braces inside that, if you add any key name here, it will treat it as a URI parameter. See the difference? Earlier we just have libraries only, right? Okay, let's click on that libraries get method. It won't ask you for any URI parameters. It will show you only header. Maybe let's click on try it. Query parameters are not there, URI parameters are not there, only it is asking for headers, client ID, client secret, correlation ID, which we have added here, because there is no URI parameter, no query parameter. Now we have added one resource which is having one URI parameter. So now once you just go here, select here, click here and click on try it, select the mocking service, come down. Now it is asking URI parameter library ID. We have mentioned library ID as a URI parameter. So as this is the dummy data, you can give any library ID, any input. Now there is no query parameters. We have three headers. Again the same three headers, client ID, client secret, X correlation ID. You can give any value. And once you click on send, you need to get response. So let's come down, see 200 is a success code, OK is the HTTP, 200 is HTTP status code, OK is HTTP status message. But you got the response in this format. How can it take this? We have given examples here, right? So we have defined properties, library code. So we have received library code. We have defined address, phone number and email address. So all these four properties come as a response here, and the values also it took from the example which we have given. See IBS 123, that is a library code. Address we have given Hyderabad. Example we have given this number, phone number. Email address we have given test@clark.com. So it took all the keys and values, properties and values from this in the defined, the RAML itself for 200. So for 404, maybe we cannot replicate this. Let's try to remove any header. Click send. Here we cannot replicate that error scenarios. Let me try. How can we replicate anything? Maybe let me just off this. Now by default it is coming as a bad request, but the unauthorized one, other error responses we cannot test here. Maybe let's change that method name. Instead of libraries we can give something. Let's click enter. Let's click on see for not found, but the structure it is taking in the internal structure it is not taking structure from here, other type and other description, because we need to handle this in while once we are doing the development. Okay, error responses maybe you cannot test properly here by using this mocking service, but you can test all the success responses. Okay, so now we are done with the design part of two resources which we have discussed. So our third one is create a new book, right? So to create a new book, we need to add one method, one resource called /books, which is a post method. Okay, which is a post method. We need to define that as well. So as this is the post method, we can see request payload, response payload. We have both. So as this is the post method, which means it is going to create or insert some data into a database, or it will add a new resource to the API. So whenever it is going to add a new resource, we need to send what resource information it has to add. So let's say, for example, if we already discussed this, right? So to add any new mobile number in your mobile, what is the number, what is the name? You need those two inputs, right? So how can you save that number with how can you save that contact without you know that person name or actual mobile number? So to save any new contact, you need to have input as or request as the person name and person mobile number. Just like that, to create, that is also one kind of post request we are doing. So to create a new book in the API resource, or to add a new book details into the database, you need to have some input payload or request payload. Request or input, you can remember in any way. So input payload you need to define, because post is going to create a new resource, but our two methods which we have defined is get methods. It is not going to create any new resource, or it is not going to add any details. Get method is used to retrieve the details whatever the data is existing over there. So in that case we don't need to add any input payload, but now we need to give input payload for the post methods, because what data it need to add. So it need to add this data into the database. So that is why we need to pass this book information here to add a new book. Right. So let's see how we can design this. It is little small difference is there for get and post. Now click enter and go to the cursor to the first line. As this is the new resource, we need to start from the line without no spaces. Okay. So /books and colon. This is the syntax to actually add any new resource. Let's click here. See, once you click on summary, it will show you here. See, whenever you add this syntax, it will show one resource is getting added here in the API endpoints. So as of now, we have designed two endpoints. One is with just a get method, one is with get method of URI parameter. Now we are going to define a post method. Everything here it will be displayed for you under API endpoints. So how can you see that? Click on summary. Okay, see, now we have added books. If you remove this syntax, it will not show you. It will show you an error here because it doesn't know, RAML or this design center doesn't understand what is this /books. Or if you add colon, if you didn't add slash, now also you will get error because RAML doesn't know what is this books colon. Whenever you add /books and colon or / any name colon, it will understand this is one endpoint we are going to, this person is going to design another endpoint in this RAML. So it will understand in that way. So that is why you need to follow this syntax / and whatever the resource name you have and colon. So now it has added /books as an API endpoint, but it is not showing any method here because we have not added any method here as of now. Okay, so now click enter. Now select the method. Then it will show that method here. So as per our requirement, this books is the post method, right? So just select the post method. See, now it added the post method here. So post means what? We are going to create a new book. So let's add some description. Just click enter, description. So this resource is used to add a new book into the database. We can just mention for our understanding purpose. Okay, now click enter. Now if you want to add any more details, you can add, otherwise just click backspace. Oh, it is struggling to save or something. Let's save this, or it is automatically saved. Actually by default it will save. You no need to explicitly save this, but the suggestions are not coming, so just I click Ctrl S. Okay, Ctrl S to save it. Okay, so now I have click entered. Now let's go to that diagram which we have discussed. So we have designed two get methods, that is fine. Now you need to define this post method. So post method also first three are common. Resource name, yes, we have added the resource name as Smashbooks, and you need to select the method. Yes, we have selected the method as post, and the third one you need to define headers. But if you observe, for all the resources we have only three headers. All are three same common headers. Okay, now you will understand what is the use of fragments or reusable components, right? That we will going to discuss tomorrow. Now you need to add the headers, right? So just click select headers, and you can copy the headers here from here, any method, because all are same, right? You can just copy paste. Yeah, again it is some indentation issue. You can just adjust that indentation. One extra space is added, so I'm just removing it. I'm just clicking backspace. Right, now we have added three headers. See, if you observe, for every method we are writing three headers. Three are same headers. So do you think this is the redundant of code? Do you know what is the redundant means? It is just duplicate of code. Okay, so we are writing headers, same headers here for this get method, and again same headers for this get URI parameter method, and same headers for this post method. So why do we need to write every time? This is a duplication of code, right? So how many lines this headers have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 lines are there. So we are writing these 10 lines three times for each and every method. Let's say if we have 10 methods or 10 resources, again we need to write it is 10 lines of code for all the methods. Do you think this code is the duplication? So do you have a doubt like why can't we write once and why can we utilize this? Why can't we utilize them? Why can't we write these headers in somewhere only once? All these 10 lines of code we can write somewhere, but we can refer it from that code, something like that. Do you have any doubt at this point? Then you are on the right track if you have that doubt, right? So if you remove all these 10 lines, you can save 30 lines of code here. You can write this 10 lines somewhere and you can just refer it in a single line. So you have saved the code, and you will make your RAML clearly. You make this RAML in a very clear way, instead of this 10 lines, maybe we can have one line like, oh, this is the header, okay, just refer the another file, add the headers from that another file, like that we can mention here. Okay, that is the concept, and that is the requirement of fragments or reusable fragments come into picture. We will discuss more. Okay, so as of now, just add the all similar headers here, all the 10 lines of code here as a duplicate. Okay, let's ignore this for now. Let's see how we can redesign this RAML once we discussed about the fragments video. Okay, fine. Now we have added headers. Now see, if this is the post method, let's go back to the diagram. So we have added headers. Security, I said you just ignore it for now. Now see the another difference between this get and post. In the get method you see only response body structure, but for post method you need to add this request body structure as well. Then you need to add the response body structure before you before you add any response body structure. For post methods you need to add request body structure, because for a post method we have request payload and response payload both. Okay, so to add any response payload, we have a keyword called responses here, so you can click on responses and click on method 200 and all. But to add request payload, we don't have any particular keyword, something like that, request payload or requests, something like that. Only thing, you need to just select body directly. So whenever you select a body directly, it will treat it as request payload or input payload. Okay, whenever you select responses, I just remove, I'll just show you one more time. So whenever you select responses here, it will treat it as a response payload, just like we did for get methods. See here, after the headers, after we define all the three headers, what we have selected? Responses. And then we have selected the response code, and then we have selected the body. So whenever you see responses under 200 or any status code or under this body, it will treat it as a response body or response payload or output payload, something. So, but now for the post method, you need to add the request payload also. So what I'm trying to say, there is no specific keyword called requests, just like the responses. For responses, we have a keyword in RAML called responses. But to add request payload, you don't have any keyword called request or input or something. You can directly add the body keyword. It will treat it as a request payload. That's what we are going to do now. So click on enter. Send that cursor to under headers. So here there is no request. You can just directly select the body. It will treat it as a request body. Then select the payload type, media type. Okay, just now give the description just for our understanding. This is a request body section of this create book method or resource, maybe you can say. Okay, so you are see. Okay, fine. So now just you have added just a body and media type. You selected request body and media type. Now you need to add properties and examples for this request structure. Let's go back to our documentation and go to this particular resource. So this is the books resource. This is what we are adding, right? So for the request or input payload, we have these are the properties. Okay, so you need to add all these properties one by one for this request body. Then you need to add the responses. Then you need to add properties for the response body as well. So let's add this. Oh, let's add only 2 or 3 for now, because anyway we are going to redesign later. This will be a rework or a bore for you, right? So let's add library code and title, or library code. Oh yeah, library code and title, author. These 3 let's add for now. Okay. So let's go back to the design center. So to add any properties, yeah, you need to move the cursor. It is not reflecting. Yeah, so cursor till this description, select the properties, paste that property you copied, click on colon. This is the syntax you should remember. So after every property or everything, you need to add colon. Here you no need to add any slash. But to define any new resource, you need to follow the syntax like slash, the name and colon. Remember these things. Once you are doing practice, it will be easy for you. Don't worry. So I'm adding attributes for this library code, just like we did for another properties. It is also similar work. String, and I have added one example. So let me add one example. Library code IBS 123. So I have added one property. Let's add one more property as well. Second one is title for this books resource input payload. Okay, so title, click colon, enter, add the another attributes like type is string, something. It is also similar work. So to avoid this similar kind of work, this duplicate kind of work, we have to redesign this RAML by following reusable fragments. Okay, so now you will understand the pain without any reusable fragments, how much time you have to spend and how the effort you are going to build to design a complete RAML, and how easy or how tough it is to understand the RAML design with these many lines of code. So as of now we have designed only 3 methods. For these 3 methods it has 100 lines of code. If you have multiple properties and multiple methods, it will go like anything. It will go like many thousands of lines, something like that. So to avoid that confusion, or to make it RAML clean and to make all things reusable, that comes into picture, the reusable fragments, right? So once you understand the pain of designing RAML in this way, then it will be easy for you to understand the fragments part. So that is why I'm doing this in detail now. Okay, the title is half girlfriend. Maybe some of you already fan of this book, right? Okay. So yeah, let's leave these two parameters. Let's add one more property, author. It is Chetan Bhagat. So author colon, this is the property, and for this we need to add couple of information or property, sorry, attributes. Type, it is also again string, and then example. You can give one letter, it will show you that letter. Okay, so it is Chetan Bhagat. You can just select from here. Okay, let's leave it as it is. We will add all the remaining properties later once we discuss fragments, because it is really painful to write everything one by one. Okay, right. So let's say we have done with the request payload. Now what is the next step? We have added success, I mean examples as well. Now we need to add the response body. Input and output, right? Input body we have given, output body we need to define now. So let's move the cursor until you see the responses word here. Did you see that? No. Did you see that? Yeah, responses. So select. So under response code, do you need to select a 200 or 201? Because this is the post method we are designing now. For post method, success code is 201. For other two get methods, we have selected 200 as the success response code, because the HTTP status code 200 is specific to the get method success response. So for post method success response, you need to select 201. Now click on body, now click on application JSON. These are all same. Alright. Okay, now maybe you can add properties for this response payload. As we have only two properties, that's fine, we can add it. So we have two properties in the response payload, right? Let's add a message and book code one by one. So you need to give message colon and select those two attributes. Let me just copy paste. Another one is book code, right? The unique book code which is generated, we need to get that response back. So book code colon, and you can maybe copy paste this type and example. And now change that example. It is a message, right? So what kind of message you are expecting? Book added successfully. This is the expectation for this particular field. And for this book code, you need to receive any unique book code. So VK123 something like that you can define. Okay, response body we have defined, and all error responses also you need to add. So we have already defined one error response here, right? Let me copy paste. See, again this is also duplicate code, because for each and every method you need to add error responses, but that error responses are common for everyone, right? So for libraries, this guest method also we need to add 400, 404, 500 those error responses, but we have added only one just to save some time. But in general we need to add all the error codes for all the methods. So let's say this is how many lines of code it is: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18. Let's say for example approximately it's 20 lines. So this 20 lines of code for one error code. Okay, so let's say we have to add 5 error codes, for example 5 into 20, 100 lines of code will be repeated for every method, because for each and every method we need to add error responses as well. So again it increase the lines of code, it increase the pain to write everything again and again, right? So let's see how can we avoid this. So now I just move the cursor till this 201, because here status codes are available for me to add. This is the because this is the correct place I need to add. So as I copy the lines of code from above, just I would like to paste it here. It is having indentation issue. No problem. See, under 401 directly it is coming pasted body here. So we need to click tab. So I have adjusted the tab, but yeah, the problem is it pasted under body. Sorry, under the application slash JSON. Okay, so that is why you need to follow indentation correctly. So let me just cut this again, and let's move my cursor till this body. I will paste here. Now it looks good. Only this has some issue. I'll just click tab. It will get adjusted. There is no errors now, right? But if you can see extra spaces are there, we can maybe adjust, or you can just leave it as is because it doesn't throw any error here. No? So you can just leave it as it is, or you can just adjust accordingly. Because we have added a few spaces earlier, right? So that is why it is a rework again. So I'm just removing extra spaces. But make sure all the properties will come one by one. Still some error is there. Okay. So under type, under example should be there. So whenever you face any issues like this, the errors, you need to make sure the indentation should be in correct way. So that is why I just wantedly copy paste this and adjusted the indentation just for your reference. Okay. Fine. Let's stop it here. Let's test this once. Then maybe once we discussed about fragments, it will be easy for you to understand. See, for now you have lot of common code written everywhere as a duplicate lines of code. So this 404 we have written here, and this 404 we have written here. Everything is same. There is no change, right? So for this method, we have not written any error code here. Maybe we can add this error response for the first one as first one also. I mean the first method also. Okay. Let me give tab until I can see status code. Let me paste here. See, now how many lines of code this RAML have? 163 lines of code. But to be frank, we have lot of duplicate code. We have written headers everywhere. We have copy paste headers everywhere. These 10 lines of code is there 3 times, and this 20 lines of code of this 404 is there 3 times in this entire RAML, because those are common things. But we cannot, but this is different. 201 is different, 200 is different, like that. So to design any RAML in efficient way, you need to first understand what is the common code which will be applicable for all the resources. You need to first have that idea. Then it will be easy for you to write the RAML in an efficient way by following the fragments and reusable stuff. Let's test this method once, and let's stop this video here once we test this. Then tomorrow we will discuss about reusable fragments, because we have different reusable fragments. Then we will see what is the use of them. Then we will redesign our RAML by following all the best practices. Then we are done with the design part. So we need to do one by one like that. Let's test this method. Let's click on post. You need to select the marking service here and click on try it. See, as this is the post method, there is no query and URI parameters, so it is not asking anything. And we have the headers, the same headers, right? You can give any random value here because this is just a dummy data. And if you can see, content type is the another header added by the default for this post method by having this application slash JSON. That is the media type which we have defined. So content type is the header added by default for all the post methods, the media type which we have selected. Okay, now this body I'm talking about, this body is the request body, input body. So it come that input, it displays that input body from here where we have defined that properties and examples, right? From here it frame that input body here in the JSON format. So once you click on send, you will get 201 created and response. This response also we have added here as a structure. See, 201 This is the status code for this post method. If you observe or if you remember, by testing that get methods, you get 200 OK. 200 is the status code, OK is the status message which we have received. But for this post method, 201 is the status code, created is the status message as a success response. Okay, so for this response also we have added this properties message and book code. Only these two values it is coming as a response here. It took these values also from this example which we have defined. So everything you need to define in the RAML to make the complete design looks good. So this is how you can test or design any get methods by adding headers and properties and all for get methods or post methods. You can do in this way. We have one more resource also by defining query parameters that we will see later once we define everything by using fragments. That will save much time for you and that will be easy for you to understand. Otherwise you need to follow these many lines of code. It is little a pain. Okay, so yeah, okay guys, I think yeah we are done with this topic for now. Let's close this video. Let's conclude this topic here. Then tomorrow we'll discuss about fragments. We will redesign this RAML, then we will publish it to Exchange, and then we will continue. Right, I hope you like this video. This video is useful for you. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, share and like our channel. And if you want to have this course, maybe by this time you already buy this course. If you want to share this information with your friends, please share it, and let's enjoy the course and happy learning. I hope this complete entire course will be a little useful for you to get good jobs. Right? Thank you.